You might have heard of the stack and the heap before, and you might be thinking it's just some kind of magic box where things just happen that don't really affect you. Maybe it's not too important. Or maybe it actually is important where you store your runtime variables. And besides, the more you know. Okay, C uses what's called the call stack. When a function is called, it jumps to that function, and when the function is done, it jumps back to where it was called. It manages this with the stack data structure. The operations are last in and first out. Think of it like a stack of books. You place one book on top of each other, and the one on top is the one you can take off. These operations are named push and pop. So when you put one on top of the stack, you push it on the stack, and when you take one off the top of the stack, you pop it off the stack. When a program starts up, the operating system gives it space for the stack. This is laid out contiguously in memory, and it's quite fast and pretty efficient. When a function is called, that stack frame is pushed onto the stack. This is where all the function's arguments and local variables and return address are stored. And that return address is where it's going to jump back to when that function is done. And once it returns, that frame stack will be popped off the stack, and any of those local variables or anything in that function are going to be gone. Now let's consider the heap. It's an area of memory that isn't really determined when your program starts up. Its really only limit is how much RAM is available. Now the operating system will determine and manage where it is stored, but you must determine when it's created and when it's freed up. We add objects to the heap using malloc or calloc, and the operating system kind of tries to find where it's going to put it, and these objects' addresses could be really anywhere. And we use pointers to access these objects in memory. As long as that memory location has not been freed, you can literally access that from anywhere, given you have the actual address to that object. And once you are done with one of those objects, you need to make sure you free up the memory. Otherwise, you can get memory leaks. And just to be on the safe side, anytime you use malloc or calloc, use the function free on that object. The stack has fast access because it's contiguously laid out in memory. Meanwhile, the heap is relatively much slower. And with the stack, you do not have to manage your memory because once the frame stack is popped off, all that stuff is freed up for you by the operating system. Meanwhile, on the heap, you have to manage everything yourself. The stack is managed by your CPU, which is very well organized and efficient. Meanwhile, the heap, given over enough time, if you keep using the heap, things could get fragmented. And you pretty much have a limited stack size when you start up your program. Meanwhile, the heap is only real limit is how much available RAM you have. On the stack, you cannot resize your variables. You could make a copy into a bigger variable, but in the heap, you can actually reallocate and make the objects bigger. And with the stack, variables are local only to within the function, or the stack frame. Meanwhile, the heap can be global given you have the address of that object. You might be asking, well, when should I use the heap? Well, the heap is actually kind of useful because sometimes it can solve problems you can't solve with just using the stack. A good rule of thumb is, if you only need a variable's lifetime to be within a function, meaning when the function's over, you don't need it anymore, use the stack. Now, if you need a variable to live outside of a function, that's when you're going to have to use a heap. An example of using the heap might be you're getting a query from a database of a bunch of users based on some kind of condition. And you don't know how many users there's going to be. So in that case, you're probably going to need to use the heap. Of course, with that example, you could create an array on the stack, and then once it reaches the end, you can double its size and then copy it over, but that could be less efficient than just using the heap. Well, that's a lot of information. Let's look at a diagram that is used often to describe the stack and the heap. Now, this is just a model of what a program might look like when it is being run. So we have the stack. Sometimes people put it on the bottom, and sometimes people put it on the top, and then it moves down towards the heap. So we got text at the bottom, which is like kind of like your executable code. You're going to have data, which is where global variables are set. I should point out here, text and data do not grow or shrink within the lifetime of your program. Now the stack and heap absolutely will, because when you call a function, that stack frame gets pushed onto the stack, using up more memory. And when you create an object in the heap, it uses more of the heap, obviously. Now, if you keep putting stuff onto the stack and you don't have enough space, you get what's called a stack overflow. And we kind of touched on it. If you don't free up all your memory when you're using the heap, you can get a memory leak. And a good tool to use to make sure you're not having memory leaks is a program called Valgrind. This is a static analysis tool that will check your code and try to find, and will find, memory leaks that you can fix. All right, let's take a very basic program and kind of walk through it. Okay, I have two functions, a_fun and b_fun. One takes an integer, another one takes a pointer to an integer. I'm going to initialize and declare int a to 42. And then we're going to print out the address. %p is a format specifier for the address, and I'm going to pass the address of a to that. Then I'm going to call the a function down here, and that's going to print the address down there as well. And we're going to do the same thing with another integer. This time I'm going to use calc. I'm going to use 4. This is going to be an array the size of an int. And I'm going to print the address in main, and then I'm going to pass that to the b function and print that address there as well. All right, let's run it and see what we get. Okay, so in main we have a function. In main we have a memory address of 0x7ffd89, blah, blah, blah. And in a function, we have a very similar address, if you'll notice. It's pretty much right next to each other. And then in main for b, the pointer, we have some other strange address, 0x55b. So that's a long ways away from our stack. It's somewhere in the heap, and we don't know where it is. It's just somewhere else. And we have a pointer to the address, so we can still access it. And you notice in the b function, it's the exact same address. All right, so let's walk through this real quick. So we have our area. I'm going to make it kind of big if I can. And then we have our code down here, our text. And then we have some data, which is going to be where our global variables are set. And then from here, we're going to have the heap and the stack up here. So up here, main is called. And the first thing it does is make an integer of a. And then it calls a function printf. So printf gets pushed onto the stack and then does something. And then when it's done, it gets popped off the stack. So we're going to have to go ahead and go, let's see, printf, you're gone. Then it's going to call a_fun. A_fun gets pushed onto the stack. And then we pass a to it. That a is copied into the a function. That's why we have a completely different address. And then when that's done, actually when that's not done, that is actually going to call another printf. It's going to do its work, and then printf is done. It gets popped off the stack. Poof, pop off printf. And then printf is done. A_fun is done. That gets popped off the stack, and we are back in main again with just main. And then we're going to initialize a integer pointer. And we're going to allocate memory to that. And now we're going to put this down in the heap. Int pointer b gets a calc call. And that's put in the heap. And then we call printf in main. That's get pushed onto the stack. It prints out our address. It's done. It gets popped off the stack. So let's just pop that off here. And then we call our b_fun. b_fun gets called. Boom. We call that. And then we pass it the address of this variable in the heap. And when we get to the b function, it can actually print that out. And then it calls printf. We call that on the stack, printf. And then we pop off the stack once it's done. Printf gets popped off. It prints the address. And then b_fun is done. It gets popped off. And then we're almost at the end of main. And like I said, we need to free. Main free will get popped on to the stack. Free will erase or clear up, free up the b. The pointer to b gets freed up. That, well, what's in there gets freed up. The address is now gone. Free is done. It's done its work. It gets popped off the stack. Then we get to main, and main does return exit success. And it is now popped off the stack. And the program is done. And the operating system takes this whole call stack and reallocates it for something else. All right, since we did free, let's go ahead and recompile and run that so we can go ahead and see it not really change. Of course, we have slightly different addresses this time because it's a different run and a different call stack and a different frames and a different place in the heap. And there we go. Awesome. Way to level up by learning. There will be no code hosted on GitLab for this one. And thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment to defeat that algo monster.